both of any of you have noticed his style of building a power block for himself. Bola Tinubu is trying to actually apply the Lagos style of building power for himself. And initially, I didn't see him succeeding in that, but I think I am beginning to see his strategy. And his strategy may work. When I use may, that may is still close to will. Honestly, the may that I'm using is close to will work. So it's about 80% may. Or rather, sorry, 20% may. So 80% will work because he did it in Lagos, but I see it working out. Now, Tinubu's style of amassing power for himself and control, power and control. One thing is there are two different things. One thing is to get power, and another thing, a different thing entirely, is to have control. So what Tinubu is trying to do is he has gotten the power, and he wants the control. While in government and outside government, just like what he's doing in Lagos State, still in control of Lagos State. He wants to, that's the same thing he's trying to do, apply in the Nigerian case. I don't know if any of you have noticed that his style of doing this stuff, and his style is, Tinubu does not believe in already made people. He doesn't believe in already made politicians or leaders. He prefers to make them himself. Bring you up from the scratch. Give you something you did not expect in your life. Take you to where you did not expect to be in your life. Give you something that ordinarily you couldn't have ever thought of getting that stuff. By so doing, you will feel perpetually indebted to him. That is what he's doing. So Tinubu does not like to work with already made politicians. He wants to make them. He wants to be the one to make them. And that is why the issue of Wike can never be, Tinubu has used Wike. He's only keeping Wike right now in his government because Wike seems to be doing well as a minister of FCT. So he is literally performing, trying to transform the city. So that's understandable. But honestly, Wike, that he used Wike, he will destroy Wike. He will make Wike to be politically relevant. Because someone like Tinubu people like Wike are not in the plan, in the power building plan of Bola Tinubu. So people like him are inimical to his plan, to his long-term plan. So he will not. Wike's political career is just a matter of time. It will die. That's the truth. And the same thing, that is why he refused to work with people like Rufai. Everyone was asking, Rufai fought tooth and nail to make sure Tinubu becomes the president. He played prominent role. He was a sycophant, public sycophant everybody knew that. He was taking bullets, political bullets, from communication bullets, media bullets from the public for Bola Tinubu during the presidential election. And now everybody expected that after the election that Rufai will eventually get a juicy position. But what happened? What happened in the National Assembly under normal circumstances? Let's even assume, okay, he was nominated for something that has to go through National Assembly, and National Assembly rejected him or whatever. And don't you people think that the rejection by the National Assembly is still based on Bola Tinubu? If Bola Tinubu wanted him, that he has so many people, stooges, including the entire leadership of National Assembly are in his palms. So He could have just called them and ordered. Alternatively, okay, there are so many appointments, so many juicy roles that someone like Erufai could have occupied without passing through National Assembly. All he needed was just mere appointments for something. So that is the reason this brings me, that is an ample proof, one of the proofs that Bola Tinubu does not, in his power building system, power and control building system, he rather used people that he built himself, or he chose to build himself. That's why he's not dealing with people like Erufai. Erufai will go down, he will become so politically irrelevant as long as Bola Tinubu remains the president. And we have people in the north or whatever, and that is the reason that brings us even to this reason of Buhari becoming Mecca. Buhari's home becoming a Mecca of sorts, a sort of, where everybody now, of course, that because what Buhari Tinubu is doing now is trying to actually wield the power brokers in the north of their power, wield them, or just whittle that power. He's trying to, Tinubu wants to build his own power, northern power block. A sort of, so that is the way I see it. And apart from the north, nationally to the same thing, that is exactly what he's trying to do. He's probably going to bring in people who are nothing, who never expected to be anything or whatever. So at the end of the day, become very, very loyal to him, either as a president or ex-president. What do you see, Barrister? Do you make sense out of what I say? Do you see sense? Can you see sense out of what I say?
Well, to some extent, I agree with you, but not totally. I happen to be one in the school that, or of the belief that Tinubu is a very sensible politician, but he uses simple methods. If you are for him, if you are not against him, and he assesses people, even if you abuse him today, and tomorrow you come and apologize, he will assess you the level of threat you can be to him in the future. He will accept you. That's why people like this former spokesman of
Daniel Bola.
Bola can go back to him with full confidence that they will see after all the things they have said. The case of Erufai was an exceptional case. Tinubu is knowledgeable about politics. He assesses Erufai as somebody that can galvanize serious opposition against him. And his own issue is not just one of mere appointment. Even if you give Erufai appointment, his loyalty is always in doubt. He has demonstrated that over time, from Atiku Abubakar, who brought him into the public limelight, to Obasanjo, who made his appointment. So everybody knows him that his case is not one of appeasement. You cannot appease Erufai. He has his own issues that he takes care of. So that kind of person, the best thing is to put him outside and face him squarely than bringing him inside and he manipulating and intriguing within your cycle against you. It's better to keep that kind of person outside. There are not many other people in the north that can challenge Tinubu today. Probably Atiku is in a position to do that. But I can assure you that every politician outside the north knows that northern politicians cannot be relied upon 100% as long as they perceive that the interests of the north and by extension their own personal interests will be affected. So no matter how you trust them, Goodluck Jonathan will give you an example, or will give you a history of that. There is a lot of people in the north that he trusted, even with his life. He gave them they are the same people who worked against him strenuously in 2015. So people know that these people have interest. If in 2027 as things are going, they are already campaigning that Tinubu is against the North, is not doing things that will favor the North. So it is no longer a question of just giving position. And out of all of them, out of all these northern politicians, the most insidious of them is El-Rufai. So you don't bring that kind of person to your cycle to give him the opportunity to intrigue within your cycle, destroy and get support within you while you are looking. You better keep him at. I think Tinubu recognizes that, and that is why his nomination failed. He also recognized that El-Rufai's support for him during the nomination process and the election process was not altruistic. It was based on a quid pro, which Tinubu did not follow. El-Rufai fully expected to be named the vice presidential candidate to Tinubu. And unfortunately, it did not work. Tinubu realized that making such a person the vice presidential candidate is extremely dangerous to him. So, and he had advice. So he didn't. And that was the beginning, that was the real beginning of their falling apart. So the issues of ministerial discipline just came after. So he knows. But other than that, he is ready to bring in northern politicians into his fold who are willing to work with him, but at the same time, casting a wary eye on their movement, on their perception, and on their intrigues going into 2027. I don't think in that line, in politics, Tinubu is a fool. He is not. He is smart in doing this politics. We have seen him do that in Lagos. And he is using that template now that he's president to achieve his second term ambition and even beyond. Because even after he goes, he wants to have a kind of group that will continue to lead Nigeria. So the issue is even beyond his second term. He wants to replicate his 25-year control of Lagos across Nigeria if he can. So, and he realizes that people like Rufai will be a stumbling block. So why do you still empower them? Why do you make them more powerful?
Yeah, but does that not bring us to my own point? That brings us to our point too. If he thinks that someone like a Rufai, who is already made, a sort of can pose a threat to his ambition, it still brings us to that point where I think he rather deal with people that he will make himself, other than. And if you look at everybody, people that are actually wielding power around his inner cycle, just look around. Because I've looked around and I realized that even people in his inner circle are those of them that he made.
Of course, I wholeheartedly agree with you. The inner cycle of Tinubu are wholly Tinubu gang, the ones he brought up. People like Bajabiamela and all, yes. They are all his own gang that he brought up personally, and he knows them inside out. Those are the people within his inner cycle. Of course, other people have appointments, but every government, every president has an inner cycle.
And that is exactly what he's doing in APC. APC right now is just neither here nor there. The acting chairman now is or whatever. The vice chairman just resigned. And I think I don't know if he has the camp, but I think resigned. The chairman, acting chairman, who is Ganduje or whatever. If you notice, Tinubu is not even interested in just fighting for Ganduje in any form or shape, because he's trying to just kind of remodel everything, the entire system in his image. Let me use that word, sort of. Shegun, what do you think? What's your thought on this? Shegun, are you there? Okay, while we're waiting. Okay, yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, okay. If anybody thinks Tinubu is weak, then that person should think again. Whatever you see that he is doing are part of his strategy to remain in power. He understands and he notices all of the movements going on between the northern politicians and even within the East, and even within his political party, the APC. He knows the intrigues, he knows the plans, he knows all of these things. So I am sure he would have some aces off his sleeves. The barrister clearly mentioned virtually everything that I would have said. All of the people you see around him were made by him. And if he sees that you're going to constitute a problem to him, he throws you under the bus. He doesn't hesitate to do that, especially if you're overambitious. Somebody like Nasir El-Rufai has shown to him clearly that no matter how much you bat a pig, it will still go back in the mud. So he doesn't bother himself about such people. What he does is put them down and down permanently so that they don't become a problem to him. It's quite unfortunate anyway, because it is not a good thing that you make somebody like that so powerful that nobody anywhere can counter his powers or his strategies. But give it to him anyway. He has all of this. The only way he can be defeated is a united Nigeria, which I don't see coming up any moment from now.
Yeah, unfortunately not. Yeah, there is something that is not actually I didn't add to our topic because I just felt that we have there are so much topics already. But can we briefly just talk about this? I don't know if you people I don't know if you have read this about some purchases. About Bola Tinubu's trip. I don't know if you have the information about his trip to Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, I think for African Union meeting. What he spent about 1 billion naira to purchase dollars. He will spend about 1 billion naira to purchase dollars to Ethiopia, and about 650 million naira for honorariums. Did you read about that, Barrister and Shogun? Are you aware of that, of such information?
Hello?
Yes. Did both of you hear what I said? Are you what I just said now? Are you aware of this news? I don't know if it's news anymore. Barrister.
Yes, we heard is sort of on social media, but for me, it's not as alarming as other issues we have talked about. Because if you change 1 billion naira into dollar, it will
no. You see, my point is, why I brought that point is, sorry to cut you short. The point why it kind of attracted my interest is because Buhari seemed to accept Buhari. Tinubu seemed to be making everywhere he's invited or whatever. There are some. I understand this is African Union meeting, but I don't get it. This man seems to just be traveling to everywhere. I don't know if it is just for him to validate his political power or leadership in Nigeria or what.
That is what I was going to talk about. I'm not bothered about the financial outlay. I'm bothered about the fact that he's going everywhere.
That's the point.
Everywhere he does not need to go.
Correct. This is a waste of money.
In that process, committing scarce resources that we
don't
have. That is the angle I was going to talk about. It is about time that the Nigerian president do not junket across the world. When Obasanjo was doing that, there was good reason for it. Yeah. And he achieved something. He ended up giving us a debt relief. We exited the debt burden. So he's junketing around the world. We could see tangible results. It's about time that the Nigerian president has the respect that he deserves. He can sit in Lagos and invite anybody. Everybody can come to Lagos.
Yeah.
You don't need And the most annoying thing is whenever he's going, he goes with a very large
entourage,
unnecessary delegation. Yeah. We don't need that. How many times have we said that, look, you the leaders, the country is bleeding. Show us that you care. Manage our resources prudently. Don't show us that you are reckless in spending, you are extravagant. When the rest of the country is bleeding, your countrymen are suffering. Show some respect to your countrymen who put you into that office. The earlier he cut down on some of these trips and the delegation he traveled with, the better. Some of these things he can send representation to it. He don't need to be there. But when somebody has a need, just like you mentioned, the word validation, when somebody has a need for recognition and validation, then he goes to any party that is thrown up just to acquire that recognition, just to acquire that validation. He doesn't need that. Nigeria does not need that. Our finances do not need that.
Yeah, I think that is it. Do you have anything to say about that? If you don't, of course, I trust journalists. You will always have something to say about that. Otherwise, we'll call it a day. Shegun, please.
Oh, well, it is not about being a journalist. I think it is about all of us as Nigerians. I'm not surprised. I heard about it. I read about it. I'm sure you have also read the 6 billion. Was it 6 billion or 6 trillion or thereabout? I'm not sure of the. It is between billion and trillion, and that was spent again additionally to the 22 or 21 that was spent on the VP's residence. I'm not surprised anymore when I hear all of these figures, because look, this man spent money to buy his seat, to buy his ticket to be in Asoro. You don't expect that he's going to sit down and not spend and not steal money to cover up what he has spent. All of these things, all of these trips are not necessary, but there are ways of looting whatever he has spent to recover them. That's what they're doing. Because for crying out loud, let us ask ourselves, what is the outcome of the trip to Ethiopia? What did we go there to achieve? How many people, how many investors did we get in Ethiopia that are coming to invest billions, maybe 3 times or 5 times what he spent on that trip in Nigeria? All we hear are claims. XYZ is coming to bring 1 zillion and put it in the aviation sector. At the end of the day, we don't get to see anybody at all. What we actually see that is obvious are people leaving the country, taking away their investments. You see, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised with this reckless abandon with which this government spends money and behaves as if it is deaf and dumb, because they don't listen to anybody. No matter what you're going. The other time earlier on, you were talking about Kenya. The people care so much, and that's why they rose in unison to fight the government to say, look, this is enough. And the government rescinded this, the bill and said, look, we're not going to do this anymore because the people don't want it. But in Nigeria, do they even discuss it with you? Nobody discusses anything with you. They go ahead and sign it. And you have a Senate president who tells you to your face, look, whatever it is you guys are going to do it. We are going to secure the life of the president first. It's more important.
Honestly, that was arrogance in the highest. It
is an insult on all of us. Somebody who should be in prison. Honestly. Forgive my French. Somebody who should be in prison is the one telling us that they can spend whatever it is they want. Look, it's a sick country that we have. Honestly, Nigeria is a crime, not a crime scene. A crime. That's what Nigeria is, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're right. Honestly, Akpabio is I don't know how. Honestly, in fact, sometimes he says something. I just wonder, how did this man rule for 8 years as a governor? This man does not have the decorum of a public servant. He does not have that. The man is just flippant. He just says anything anyhow. He just behaves like an area boy, like a thug. Just speaks like a thug, honestly. Honestly, when I watched that, I said, I shook my head. I said, what kind of country is this? Why are we tolerating people like this? Why are we patient with people like this, for God's sake? And that is it's unfortunate that honestly we are where we are today. Like I said earlier, Tinubu, everybody, I think all of us agree on this. But Tinubu has no intention to do anything noble for Nigeria. He only had the intention to amass power and control for himself, but he does not have sincere intention to actually, whatever is going on with Nigeria right now, all the wrongs, Tinubu does not have it is, in my own, this is conspiracy theory, but the truth is, there are people who are very, very unpatriotic. It's happening even in America, the American system too, where you don't wonder why are some policies this way, or why is the government actually pushing these policies? Some of these policies are just very, 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 very inimical, very detrimental to the system, sort of, and to the people in general. The same thing applies to whatever. So it happens in every clan. There are people who may be leaders, sort of, but they are unpatriotic. Their interest is against, is detrimental, or their interests, several interests, are detrimental to the country. That's what applies to Tinubu. Honestly, Tinubu does not have intention. His intention is actually to perpetrate chaos in the system, to perpetuate Nigerians in poverty. Honestly, that is just unfortunately, he does not have the intention to do anything right. All his intention is just to amass power, amass wealth. That is just what he's out to do. Nothing more, and no one should expect anything good from Tinubu. They're just there to share our national resources. Unfortunately. So anyway, I don't know, Barrister, do you have anything to round up? Otherwise, we'll call this a day.
We will continue to talk. We'll continue to cry. We'll continue to complain until our voices are heard, or until other people join with us to find ways to provide good governance to our country.
All right. Thank you so very much, Barrister Austin Manta and Mr. Segun Onibio. For those of you who know, okay, Segun Onibio, although okay, you can see his picture on the screen. He's a senior journalist and who has been in the industry for a while. And Barrister Austin Manta is a very senior lawyer. I think it was in April or March or April, I think he clocked 40 years in active legal practice. So he is a very, very senior lawyer. So that is a political and current affairs analyst. So once again, Barrister Manta, thank you very much. And Segun Onibio, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, viewers, see you next time and remain blessed.